Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, the WCS Summer 2019 Grand Finals. 2 Zerg players have made it. We're going to be focusing on one of them. One who we haven't seen quite as much of, but we've seen plenty of. The Italian Zerg Reynor is up against the finisher Serral. Some history between them. And well, first, we're going to be watching the first-person perspective. I think the casters did a great job. You can watch all the commentary and I guess your normal overview of the game. But I think in order to really learn, especially in a mirror matchup like ZVZ, where details really matter, watching first-person perspective can both give you insight and respect for exactly how much effort goes into, especially like one Zergling, one Baneling, one Roach, 1 second can and will make the difference oftentimes. So, we're watching Reynor's perspective. We might be switching over to Serral for some of it. We can see the supply. We can see production. Obviously, in a regular match, Reynor would only be able to see his supply, but gives us a little bit of a better idea and allows us to keep up with one of, if not the fastest player in the world. Reynor, one of the only players who averages more actions per minute than Serral, which doesn't necessarily mean that much until you're in the WCS finals. Reynor has beaten Serral before, by the way. He beat him in WCS Winter 4-3. He lost to him 4-0, if I'm remembering. Yeah, that was WCS Spring, and we're here again. It's quite a match. So... But, watching... So, I want to talk about ZVZ first. And we're looking at all the little details. We'll try to keep up. It's a struggle for me as well. But you can really see what these players are focusing on. Also, there are VODs of eye tracking that they were using for the very first time. WCS finally catching up with my technology on stream. But they don't really have the first-person perspective like you get from the replays. So I'm not using that, unfortunately. I feel like they could have improved and made it a little bit more effective as opposed to a bit of a gimmick. But hopefully next time. Alright. We're starting out on Acropolis. Zerg versus Zerg. Like, a lot of players think of it as a bit of a coin flip. A whole lot of Zerg, like Ling Bane or cheeses and all that. And that's definitely on the table. But the reason you won't see a whole lot of early Ling Bane, especially on more macro-oriented maps like this, and yes, they have Lings and a Baneling nest. I'd be surprised if either player goes for a full committed Ling attack. It's simply, at a certain level, the micro is so good from the players. Like, the player who's defending the Ling Bane will be able to have more drones and still defend against an attacking player. So you'll see maybe a dozen or so Zerglings like Serral's making, and then drones behind it. But rarely, especially on larger maps and more defensible maps, and Acropolis is one of those, will you see players commit to it. Because one, they have too much respect for the other player, and it's not like, oh, a handshake agreement. No. If you attack, and they're good enough at micro, you're going to be behind. You just have less drones. That's how it works. Reynor actually gets a Ling across. He sees the Zerglings, already Banelings defensively. It's a mirror build so far. Another staple of ZVZ is just full map vision. You've got overlords in all the key locations, especially if both players go hatch first. Reynor's continue looking at the minimap, seeing all these Zerglings coming out. +1 ranged attack is actually on the way for Reynor right now. Serral is gambling a bit by going for all these Zerglings. Reynor is saying, I can defend this with many less Zerglings. In fact, Serral's going home, we can see on the minimap. Reynor, I wonder if he's going to be a little surprised at that. I'm not sure why he went all the way home and didn't threaten an attack. But Roach weren't on the way. And at this point, you kind of have to judge, do they have a follow-up? Are they going to try a big Roach all-in? And that's what the next phase of the game is, as we get layers on both sides. This was the little bit of a skirmish. One player poking with some Lings, Serral poking with some Lings and droning behind. Reynor just calling his bluff, essentially, and playing defensive. We're already at 50-plus workers on both sides. Most Diamond players don't get 50 workers as Zerg ever. Well, at least in the first 8 minutes. So, and this is Zerg versus Zerg. We've already had a whole poker hand in the first few minutes of the game, and now we're transitioning. Sees the drone count, sees the gas geysers. Not much more info. This Zergling is big. Serral boxes it out. There's a small chance that Serral is feeding Reynor bad information. As in, he added extra drones onto the third that... Like, he pulled a lot of drones off the natural and is actually building a big all-in behind. But it's a relatively small chance. Reynor is also going for a quick Overlord speed, which will allow him to get some more vision. The lair finishes immediately. Overseer coming up. All Reynor has seen is the wall at the front and the drone count at the third. So right now, he doesn't have perfect info. The drone counts are actually... He's got 66 drones. You got to be really suspicious of what could be happening here. And just... Oh my god. Like, I need to... I'm sorry. I need to go back. How did he know? Like, what did he see? I was too slow. I didn't notice. But he saw something. He saw roaches on the way. He saw no gas in the main. Okay. No gas. You know what that means? At this point, you should have 6 gas. Reynor is going for a 4th base. He says, okay, wait a second. We need to get units now. This is an attack. Doesn't matter what flavor of attack, there's an attack. It could be a Nidus, it could be something he needs to defend. Like, I missed it. He saw it, of course, but I missed it. Oh, Baneling is here. The roaches on the high ground. He has +1 done. Nidus is coming up. I'm not sure if that's enough to actually deal with this, but the trades are happening. The Nidus here is not so much for all-inning, but for reinforcement. The Nidus does not make it out, keeping some roaches in the main. He knows now that this is essentially an all-in attack from Serral without that many drones behind. All he's got to do is hold. Reynor has 64 drones. He doesn't know that Serral has less, but he assumes it. Like, just the lack of gas in the main. That's it. That's all he needed. He saw the roaches coming across. He saw the gas. Oh, wait. There's a lot of roaches at the third. A little bit of an awkward positioning here for Reynor. He can't commit too many roaches to the main because then he doesn't have enough of the third. The Nidus splits his forces, and sometimes he gets caught out. Serral's starting to break through. The drones are pulled. A little bit of desperation here. The 4th base might have been a little bit too greedy. Is +1 Carapace done? He actually canceled +1 Carapace. He's desperate to get more roaches out. A whole lot of drones going down. There's a Nidus in the main. Units are trickling in from both sides. Reynor, he looked good to start, but the defenses are falling. Serral's in the main. Serral's at the third. Serral is up 30 supply. Reynor can't see it, but... a quick response. He got information as quick as he could, but it wasn't quick enough. Those Zerglings being denied. I don't think Reynor can comfortably just go 4 bases again. And this is a tough game to start a series with, because now you know Serral's willing. This is essentially a 3-base all-in out of Serral. Like, he is fully committed to attacking. There's no reason to stop. It's... Reynor knew the threat. He just got a little greedy. At some point, you get caught out of position. I think he knows it's over. Game 1 goes to Serral. I'm not... Now, this is a hard one to tell, like... let me get... the scores on the board. Just have these up there, because of course I like to use, when I'm looking from this perspective, use the more default overlay in order to really feel like it feels like I'm there. It feels like I'm the pro gamer, though obviously not. And I can't even keep up even though I'm just watching. So. Reynor got greedy in game 1. Even though, like, that's going to keep him honest, I don't think you read too much into it. Like, he knows. He's been down this road before. So... Alright, Reynor. Now, what I've noticed in their series before, there have been essentially no early pools. I don't... Like, you'd think in ZVZ, maybe once. I think Reynor in, what was it, WCS Winter, I believe? Reynor ended up winning the last game, game number 7, with a really sneaky all-in. It was a hatch first, but like a macro hatch first almost, where you show a hatch first, but you're actually not going for it. What I mean by that is you're banking up Zerglings, and you're trying to pretend like you're macroing, but bam, bunch of Zerglings. Cairo's Junction is significantly different than Acropolis. On its surface, it looks similar, but the rush distance is like 30% shorter. It's actually the shortest rush distance between naturals in the map. So, this means a whole lot of 2-base all-ins, like speed roach all-ins, creep highway, even walking the queens across Brenda style. They're more on the table than usual. I was making sure I had my info correct. Both sides are going to see the creep with their overlords. You can readily assume your opponent's overlord is in a similar position. There's a lot of things that go into overlords as well. I know it sounds silly, but for example, when seeing your opponent's second overlord is a huge part of ZVZ. The timing of their second overlord and where it's located on the map gives you information. Because if their second overlord is late, or if it's at a similar time to yours and you're going hatch first, they have options either for an early pool, or they're probably just going hatch first, things like that. So even little things like keeping track of overlords, like the third overlord coming out right now. Where is Reynor's third overlord going, actually? Oh, it's going towards the third, okay. Setting these up for later on is very important. The queen's pushing out one Ovi from the main. He knows Zergling speed is likely not finished for Serral, but wait. Where are Serral's Zerglings? The fact... Oh my god. Nice queen micro. Brenda! Well done this time around, but I don't want to see you off creep again. The lack of third base should start to ring some serious alarm bells right now for Reynor. Why is there not a third base? Did he cancel Zergling speed? He did. Reynor knows something's up. The lack of a third base is a huge part of this. He's right on top of it. He's gonna know. Nobody's gonna take the base to the north. It's too wide open. Even moving his overlords around a little bit. I'm surprised he doesn't make 2 lings to scout. Is he that convinced that Serral is committing to a +1 roach all-in? Also, second point. Now, we know with the production tab, but... Second point. What are those? You see, Reynor already knows. He's way ahead of the curve. How do you hold it? I actually really struggle against the straight-up, a well-executed 2-base roach all-in. It seems obvious. It's like, well, just build enough roaches to defend. Not as easy as it sounds. At this point, I think it's becoming very obvious to Reynor. Like, those queens are very ambitious right now. Yeah, we need every single roach on the field. There is done. Not enough gas for roach speed yet. Oh, he's dropping creep. Alarm bells are going off. This is full confirmation. He was like 85% sure before. Now he's 100%. The creep highway. The queens are coming. Everything's coming. He knows that Serral's probably going to have a few more roaches. He's going to have the queens, a quicker roach speed. Reynor has just not even gone for roach speed. His +1 attack is done at nearly the same time. It's a few seconds later. Will the spine crawler be enough to hold? The queen's going to tank a lot of roach shots. A few transfuses could make the difference, but the queens on both sides are pulled. They're all up on in the front of the map. On the front of the map. What am I saying? Just watch the selection box as well. Look at how much he's doing that isn't the fight. This is where the battle is won, by the way. On the screen, yes, that's important. But everything that's happening, quote-unquote, behind the scenes, really under the scenes, is how games are won. Wow, Reynor just... That was text. He's got 44 drones. He's got 3 bases. That was a perfect hold. Like, the +1 attack upgrade is a huge DPS upgrade for Roach versus Roach. He had his, like, 10 seconds later, which is not that big a deal, as long as you can hold the line. So Reynor just... He made that look way too easy. That's not fair. Okay, that... Now, the crazy thing here is this was all... It's not really crazy, but this was all a little bit gambled off of the fact there wasn't a third. He did not scout the Evo chamber. He didn't scout the Roach Warren, the lair timing. He's just like, oh, you're not taking a third? Then you're doing a Roach all-in. He had a little bit more confirmation later on, but he spent several minutes building up to defend that. If it had been a rush to mutas, which would have been kind of silly from Serral, but still possible, or something like that, then Reynor would be in a pretty bad spot, very likely. But he was committed, and he was convinced that Serral was going to go for, like I mentioned at the beginning, like, this is a good map for the +1 speed Roach. Serral has a lot of Roaches here. He's just kind of continued building them, which is probably the best option. I mean, GG. 3 Gs from Serral, which is 3 more than almost anyone else has ever gotten. So, a textbook hold. I think he just wrote the textbook on holding that. I'm still... I guess at this level, you just gotta hedge your bets. I still didn't see anything that told him 100% early on that it's not gonna be like a quick Spire or even like a really quick Nidus or something like that. He was convinced that Serral was doing a +1 Roach speed all-in, like with the queens and everything, and he was right. But I think in the off chance it wasn't that, if Serral had decided to really gamble, that could have been trouble. Yeah, we'll flip it for a game here. We'll see what Serral does in the next match. I want to focus more on Reynor, because we've had so much time to look at Serral, and who knows how much time we're going to have to look at Reynor in this series. But, if Serral would stop winning everything, then maybe we'd look at other people's perspectives more often. But, for some reason, I'm still not winning everything, despite watching all of these replays. I don't understand it. I haven't been watching closely enough. It would take a little bit of pausing and really breaking down the details. I like to just kind of give you a first-person cast, almost, as opposed to a real, full-on, in-depth breakdown. Maybe we'll do that for a game or two. But it'd be interesting to look at if there are any different habits between the two. When it comes to certain hotkeys, or maybe injecting hatcheries, or anything like that. Little details do matter. What is that spawning pool doing? I don't get it. Is that like just the safest location from a Nidus? Is this just... It's not like Reynor's gonna scout the main and be like, oh, I guess there's no spawning pool. Well, 1, it's at the ramp, and 2, that's not something... I don't know. I'd be interested to hear his thoughts on it. It's like, maybe I'll just throw it over here. But once again, we can tell from the production tab. By the way, just try to focus. Just focus. Don't get too dizzy by all the camera locations and flipping around the map. It is a little hard sometimes. Okay, scouting, looking for drones. He's probably going to stick around and see what comes out of that first egg. Maybe, maybe not. Sees a drone going down. But at this stage, seeing how far the creep has spread is your indicator of when the hatch finished. Because if they're going for an all-in, like essentially a big speedling all-in with a pseudo hatch, kind of a macro hatch, a larva hatch, as opposed to extra drones, then the hatch will actually finish quicker. Because usually you cut an overlord for that and just get the hatch out. And if you're not watching very closely, it'll look like a normal hatch first, but it'll be very different. The amount of Zerglings that are going to come out are usually overwhelming. Sneaky Zerglings. He's trying to hide his Zerglings until Reynor is convinced there are no Zerglings. Because remember, they ran past an overlord. So he sees Reynor's Zerglings on the minimap as well. We are at the stage, like, this is information warfare. One Zergling could give a decisive advantage to one of these players. Like, getting into the main and seeing a lair start or a lair not started, both good things. Seeing the drone count, seeing any follow-ups. Actually, wow, Serral isn't... It's not information warfare. It's good old-fashioned warfare. He's bringing a bunch of lings across the map. The main lings in as close a possible position. Trying to bait Reynor's lings in. Reynor's not going to fall for that. We shouldn't be seeing, like, at this level, nobody's going to run. Oh, I got to be careful when I say this. Nobody's going to run like a dozen lings into a baneling. Alright, like, got to be careful. Because you know what's going to happen. 2 seconds. Oh. Nice connection for Serral, but the banelings are still alive, which means they're still dangerous. What was that? Wait, what was that baneling? Is there just a random baneling? That Zergling scout sees a whole lot of drones coming out. That's big information here. My God, one Zergling gets all the way into the main. What a hero! It just now died. Starts a lair back at home. Roach Warren wall on the way. Notice it's not a full wall. The buildings aren't perfectly close together, but it does create natural choke points. God, the speed. Just the speed at which in the mouse precision. This is a real thing. Unfortunately, the thing about replays, you can't see exactly what the mouse is doing. They did have something resembling first-person perspectives at WCS, but they didn't actually have like a stream of them playing the game. Watching these players, especially like a stream or something, makes it a little easier to follow because you can actually see the mouse. You can of course see the selections here, the results of the mouse. It's just ridiculous. What are we at here? These guys are pretty good. In fact, Serral's playing slower. Quote unquote. He's opted for the Overlord speed. I think he feels like he has the initiative here. He has the economy lead. Is he right about that? He's kind of playing like it. He's got a much quicker lair, and he has more drones. So Serral, the reason you go for an Overseer right off the bat and for Zergling speed, oh my God, he saves the base. The reason you go for that, checking for... Reynor's misreading this as well, is what that means. Or I don't know if that was it. Just trying to get away from a baneling, I'm not sure. But that means Serral has a pretty significant advantage. He's got a quicker lair, quicker speed, he's got a quicker fourth, and based on what he scouted, maybe a couple more drones. Serral, noticing all those advantages, he's also investing That Evo chamber was mostly for like a semi-wall at his third, making it a little harder to get in. But why not use it for +1 carapace if you feel safe enough? Zerglings get into the main. Just gonna target things down. Will he notice that something's producing on the hatch? Burrow's actually on the way. Of course he doesn't see the burrow icon like we do. Just sees the roach count. Both sides are going for burrow move. Okay, this is gonna get ridiculous. They're gonna be juggling so many things at the same time. Both sides going for burrow move at near identical timings. Does he notice that burrow move is on the way? That roach speed is already done. Of course, there's a graphical update to the roaches as well. When the upgrade finishes, they add like a little extra horns on the top or something that are ostensibly for burrow moving. Who knows? Tunneling claws. But if you're looking closely, you can notice the difference. Is that a baneling drop coming in there? The upgrade's hot heat as well. 6 drones going down. Actually, those are Reynor's drones, right? Yes. Between the Zerglings, the worker count 70 to 66. Both sides super high economy. Serral up 24 supply. No, those are soon-to-be burrow move roaches. Looks like Reynor has burrow done a little bit quicker. Serral still doesn't know about that. Gonna try to target down some of the drones. Tunneling claws is finishing up for both sides. Wait. Alright, Roach Ravager's coming across the map. +2. +2, +1. +1 carapace significantly faster. Serral has to scramble back. He didn't quite scout these roaches coming across the map, and that means Reynor has the initiative when it comes to the start of this attack. The drones will burrow. Both sides know there's burrow move. Just try to keep up, everybody. Roaches scrambling back. Overseers as well. Overlord drop coming in. Tunneling claws, roaches burrowing through. And he's also got a drop, which can also use tunneling claws. He is able to clean up some of Reynor's roaches. Does Reynor have Overlord speed? He does as well, so he's going to be able to chase this down. Some burrow move roaches at the top. Going to be targeted down. The Overseer on the chase. Also, well, the supplies right now, the bank and supplies in favor of Serral is slightly better upgrades. The burrow into the main. He's also at the third, also at the net. He's got the Overlord drop. I don't know if that's an Overlord drop or something. No, it's just the Overlord drop. He scrambles back. The burrow move. Main attack going into the fourth. Corrosive Bile's an actual engagement here. Serral gonna back off. He's got a lot of forces coming. He gets... Oh, he's going straight for it. Reynor went for roach speed. I mean, burrow move first, as opposed to roach speed. He snipes the Roach Warren. A potentially game-winning move for Serral. He drew him a little bit out of position. And now he's a bit in trouble. No Roach Warren, no roaches to reinforce for a significant amount of time. Immediately rebuilt. Yeah, you don't want to be making Zerglings and not having roach speed right now. He's walking through Corrosive Bile. That's not a good day. Another Roach Warren being built, but Reynor has to tap it out. Serral, I thought this was just going to keep going. But, like, this match had a potential to just be beating each other back and forth. Fourth, rather. But Serral gets the huge snipe on the Roach Warren. I didn't realize, and I don't know if Serral realized, but Reynor actually went for tunneling claws first over roach speed. I don't know if that was intentional. I have to assume so. It's a big choice. But yeah, it's a game-winning move. Especially if you're a little bit ahead overall. Like if you have a few more roaches, you have a little bit of a bigger bank. Sniping the Roach Warren is a game-breaking move. We're going into game 4. Serral up 2-1. Looking to repeat history. He's only lost one WCS final in the last 2 years. So he's not looking to repeat the feat. It's always quite something when you can count the wins. I mean, count the losses easier than the wins. Okay, that was kind of a dumb comment, but you got the idea. Let's go back to the Reynor cam. Let's see. So, Thunderbird. Thunderbird. Fun name for a map. But has a significantly different layout. There are mineral walls there are mineral walls at different parts of the map. And a key part of mineral walls is that, one, roaches can't burrow under them, zerglings can't go through them. The only thing that can save you are the little unassuming drones. There's a couple walls in the center of the map that block the main attack path. They can be mined by a single mining trip. They only have 5 minerals in them. But it's a new feature in StarCraft 2, but something inspired by Brood War, which was a pretty significant map feature for that game that is still going after 21 years. So they're doing something right, which is adding StarCrafts, of course. Check out StarCraft cartoon in my video. But the key factor with those mineral walls is the third base. The third base having a double mineral wall means that multiple workers have to mine through, and even if they do, there's a choke point that needs to be managed. And especially in non-ZVZ matchups, this means essentially, as long as you defend against any early, like, 1 base all-ins, you get 3 bases. It's very difficult. There's only a single ramp to move up. And Defender's advantage is strong enough to hold it pretty easily. So this could easily go to a, one of those, oh, I made 4 lings. Oh, you made 8 lings. All right, we're done with this. Let's get to 70 drones, whatever, like, roaches, or even... This might be one of the few games we actually skip roaches, though that's always a risky move, and go to a higher level of tech. That you rarely see in ZVZ because, very simply, more roaches counter less roaches. I have the best analysis. If you try to tech switch into, like, lurkers or mutas or something, there's a very real probability, not possibility, probability, that either of these players will sniff it out and bring the hammer down before they can come to bear. The queens. Brenda, be very sneaky. Oh, how did he know? How did he know? How do we walk faster than that thing? This is an important question. But we got him anyways. The third bases, I'm sure, are scouted. Serral actually gets lings in. Will they play chicken with Zergling speed? I doubt it. Not at this stage. As in, canceling Zergling speed at the last second. Oh, Reynor! Reynor! Reynor, you're Overlord! Oh no. Serral's queens also just sneak right up on him. Brenda murderous tonight. The worker count's already going past 40 with this next round. Evo chamber scouted. What is Reynor's... Oh, he already has an Evo chamber. So his response is to do the same thing. I think he was holding, seeing if he wanted to get lair first, and waiting on the scout. But if your opponent is going for an upgrade that is very likely +1 ranged attack, these guys, like... Will there be an early pull? It seems almost like blasphemy not to have at least one early pull in ZVZ. Like, it seems that is just runs counter to the understanding of the matchup. But I think both these players, I think they respect each other so much. And once again, that's not just like empty platitudes. They respect each other so much that they know not doing an all-in is likely to just be countered by a smart and well-executed response. Like even an unscouted 12 pull can be held with near-perfect micro. And if there's anyone, especially in Zerg versus Zerg, who has near-perfect micro, these two are on the top 2 list, so... Getting a 4th base before a lair finishes. Wow. The greed is real. It's a mirror matchup, all right. Overseer coming in. Reynor's building his own. His air was a little bit on the later side. They're going to have perfect, well, not perfect, but near perfect information. Speed, Overseers, patrolling Overlords. Until there are things like Mutas or Hydras, it's going to be nearly impossible to attack without being spotted a long way out. Reynor, actually, here's another thing that's interesting in ZVZ, is Contaminate. For 125 energy, the Overseer can contaminate a building, which pauses its production for about 30 seconds. That doesn't seem like a long time until your opponent has +2 and maxed out on roaches, and you just don't. Neither player using changelings that are going to be easily sniped, but instead holding energy potentially for Contaminate on those key upgrades. It looks like Reynor wants to play around with some Baneling drops. What's the worker count? 77 drones in ZVZ at the 7-minute mark. I said Thunderbird was a macro. Oh, what a block with the drone as well! It was a... Oh, what is that? What's in there? He doesn't know if those are Banelings or not. There might be nothing in there. That might be a bluff. I have to know. Is it a bluff? No, there are Banelings in there. Back to the Reynor cam. I really want to know if it was a bluff. I love it if Serral just keeps coming in. Nothing in the OVs. There's no way to know until it drops out. Did he get a Contaminate? Does he have the energy? There it is! He gets the +2! Both sides, actually. The tactical goops. The Contaminates to delay +2. A mirror matchup indeed. So, they will balance out. They both managed to find the +2 attack upgrade. I don't know how Reynor knew that it wasn't the first Evo chamber, and how Serral knew that it was the first Evo chamber, but it was. So, oh, that's Changeling. Didn't quite spot it. Both sides building up. Infestation pit on the way. Burrow starts for Reynor. No burrow for Serral. More Overseers on the way. Wait, is he actually going to go for Mass Contaminate, or is that just for Bromo Roaches? I think that's just defensive here. Just. The base is spotted. Reynor still looking. It doesn't appear Reynor's looking for a game-winning move right now. Neither side. Reynor's just trying to see what direction Serral's going with this. He's expecting Burrow Move Roaches, and he's going to get what he expects, trying to predict the Overlord, but both of them have at least a triangle patrol pattern, making it almost impossible to snipe. Burrow Move is finishing up. Have the Roaches been spotted yet? Because they have that graphical update. Once Tunneling Cost finishes up. They're done now. By the way, you might be like, but these skins make it hard to tell. With the WCS Game Heart mode, they have default unit skins, which are the most visible. So you can have your cool skins on and show them off, just like Counter-Strike. But, oh, can he contaminate the hive? He sees the hive timing. The fact it's happening at all. But they don't actually distract the players. Finally, we have the technology. A lot of money and a little bit more gas in the bank for Reynor, but we're within 1,000, which is essentially a non-factor. Unless it really comes down to it, but at these economies, it shouldn't. Engagements on both sides. By the way, these are just... Both of these people are one player, despite the 1,000 actions per minute. Okay? They're both just one person, believe it or not. I haven't... I mean, have you ever seen Reynor and Serral in the same room together? Yes, actually, because this is the WCS Finals. +2 Carapace is finishing up. They're both engaging on multiple fronts, on multiple hills here, high grounds. Serral's actually retreating, but it was a facade. He had Burrow Move Roaches. on their way across, sniping some of these outward bases. Are there any other things happening on the map? There's almost perfect vision, but it's so hard to see everything, especially when some of it's underground. He might actually get some of this. Oh my god, Reynor pulling back. He saves the base. It looks like the corrosive biles did land. He has to pull back, though. The main brunt of Serral's forces is bearing down. Jesus Christ, Reynor. You stop. You stop right now. I'm getting secondhand carpal tunnel. I don't... Oh my god. Alright, the Roaches and Ravagers. He's actually able to split some off. Serral's going to be forced to pull back, but some of Reynor's units are caught out. Reynor able to hold on to this base. It still is a bit risky. A lot of Ravagers means if the army is out of position, can easily be caught and killed. It's an expensive one. That's a lot of gas that's committed.
Forces are under attack.
The Burrow Roach is on the way as well. Just engagements continually happening. There seems to be no, like, they're both teching up, getting more and more and more upgrades. Now there are Lurkers for Serral. Lurkers about to finish up for Reynor. He can add those on. The game will slow down again as both sides get Lurkers until they get Vipers to potentially find engagement angles. Oh, he catches some of Serral's Roaches underground where they'll stay for the rest of their life. No, wait, I take it all back. But catching some of those units, he might be able to snipe the base. He's committed spine crawlers there. I don't know if he just built them or he brought them from somewhere else, but many of the Roaches taken out. Serral on the defensive. He's continually trying to find the angle Reynor's next attacking. Neither side going for Broodlords. Reynor going to be going into Lurkers of his own. He's getting adaptive talents. That upgrade is super quick. Even more spine crawlers. Really focus. Right now, supply is a limited quantity. And you're limited by the fact you can only go up to 200 or so. I say it's mildly flexibly because Zerg can technically go above 200, but it takes a lot of work. Reynor is making sure, well, the static defenses are for being able to commit more of your army into the main fight. They wrote down, oh, the pulls, the Vipers coming out. Every piece of tech seems to be a little bit closer, a little bit quicker for Serral, whereas Reynor is just trying to catch up. Some Roaches get behind. Oh my god, Reynor's approaching 500 APM, but Serral just seems to be a little bit more effective with it. But that's 7 a second? Wait, more than that. 8 a second. Oh my god. Vipers on both sides. The Viper trades. The best is when they trade places. All right. Well, both sides going to be losing some of those Vipers. Blinding Cloud could be very useful, but abducts are critical against the Lurkers. Lurkers underneath. It's so hard to actually abduct the Lurkers when there's that many units on top of them. Oh, don't kill your own base with Consume. Oh, overconsumption, the killer of the Zerg across the world. Nidus is on the way for Serral. Reynor doesn't have any vision of it, and how much will it be a factor? Because both sides are desperately trying to figure out where to allocate their units. These guys are pretty good. The Viper's looking for an angle. Blinding Clouds picks off 1, 2, 3 Vipers. Keeps all of his own. Big pickoffs there. A counterattack coming out for Serral. Are there any Lurkers? There are not. Nothing to defend that base. More Vipers coming up. He's trying to protect his own. One Lurker gets picked off. Lurker actually just runs back. It's like, no, let me go. Bases will be traded. Who did it more cost effectively? So far, both sides still maxed out. Still a lot of drones. Reynor without as big of a bank, but he has more gas. That is a big factor here. Wow, a bold move trying to go into the 4th base. Gonna lose a Lurker. Has to go back and recharge those Vipers. That's a bit ambitious. Not a great position to build 11 Lurkers. Reynor has reached 1,000 actions per minute and rising. Serral's not too far behind. And it shows, too. All right, let's not be like, oh, he's spamming. Just watch the game. Watch the screen if you can. Reynor moving in. What are the upgrades? It's 3-3 versus 3-3. Lurker upgrade as well. We've kind of phased out Roaches. Serral still has 18. Reynor has 1 and 45 Hydralisks. The DPS of his army is ridiculous. He's given up on his main. He sees the Nidus. He says, if you commit anything into my base, I'm going to commit everything to yours. The Nidus pops out. A few roaches with it. He doesn't have anything to defend. The Lurker's abducted. Oh, even more of them. Still the attack forward. He's brought all his forces to bear. That's a whole lot of Hydras. There's a lot of energy on the Vipers. Serral's used much of his Viper energy, at least now. Wow. Reynor, you gotta go forward or you gotta come all the way back. He's running out of time to make a decision. Losing the third, losing a lot of the main. There's no Nidus. Hydras are popping out, desperately trying to save the base. Reynor retreats. Oh my god. He's gonna hold on to his base. Serral, does he have the forces to break it? Reynor is well spread here. There's not that much Viper energy, and I say that with like a dozen Vipers on the field between the sides. The main base is gone. Reynor has no home to go back to. He has no money. He's all in on Hydra Lurker Viper. He's got more Hydras. He's got more Lurkers. He doesn't have more Vipers. He has to make something happen. This is all he's gonna get. He's losing all his time. Oh, he steals away half a dozen Vipers with Serral. Not to be outdone. The Lurkers doing their absolute best. But their best. Serral's just pickpocketing him here. Reynor looking for a big move, and only big moves will save him now. Catching some Lurkers. There's very little else in production. He's building roaches. He may have lost the Hydra Den. The Lurker Den, still intact. Reynor is maxed out, but he's not going to have any more income. This is it. He has a very strong army. He can't get through the mineral wall here. He kills a base, but that's a freebie. He needs to finish the army. Serral has had plenty of time to prepare for this. Oh, the Lurkers are moving back. The army trying to catch him. Reynor trying to move into position. He's trying to catch as much as he can out. He's got a whole lot of Lurkers. He could just burrow on top of the army. Blinding Cloud. Here comes Reynor for both sides. Lurkers from the north. The Vipers. Are they enough? Wait. Where did Serral's army go? Serral's army retreated up the ramp. He's going to make one last stand on the high ground. Reynor has to break through. Now or never. How many Lurkers does Serral have? Are there Overseers? There are. Reynor is breaking through. He still has enough energy for one Blinding Cloud. The Corrosive Biles, one Blinding Cloud from right. Oh, the Lurker's spines ripping through. He drove a wedge into Serral. And he was cloven in two. Like, that is such a hard decision to make. He gave up his main and his natural, well, not his natural, his third, his main, most of his drones to keep the pressure on with the attack. 531 actions per minute. He just kept his army together, and if there was an angle, he found a very, very narrow angle. I mean, a lot of players would have lost their main and immediately gone for the all-out attack. A lot of players would have come back and tried to defend and given up even more map control. Reynor kept his cool, and that keeps him in the series at 2-2. So Reynor wins game number 4. I mean, oh, alright, we've got a breaking news broadcast. I'll be right back after this public service announcement. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to bring you some very important news. Do you want to watch all the replays from WCS? Do you want to break down each and every action for yourself and really learn from the best of the best? Well, you can, but statistically, you probably won't. And that's why I'm here, breaking them down just for you. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching someone steal my video on Facebook because I don't post them there, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, do all those exciting things, so that way I can break down these difficult 1000 APM StarCraft games so you won't have to. Now, okay, maybe you do want to find the replays. Go to twitter.com/esportsstarcraft. Yes, that's esportsstarcraft, not StarCraft Esports. Somebody stole that account name. The official one is actually just esportsstarcraft, fun fact, and you can find all the replays there. If this is a video, I'll probably forget to put a link in the description, but if I didn't, good job me. But make sure to check out those replays if you actually want to learn something and break them down on your own time. Otherwise, just encourage me to do so. 1 like equals 1 encouragement. 1 smiley face, 1 kappa in the chat. In this way, I can continue to get secondhand carpal tunnel. That way you guys don't have to. Thank you. And now back to the WCS Grand Finals. Reynor versus Serral. Thanks, Jimmy. So this Reynor guy's pretty good, I hear. Will we actually see a cheese? I'm still not seeing it. Will there be an early pool? I don't understand, like, why not 1? I feel like you should mix it in a series. Like a best of 7 should have 1 super cheese. We're not done yet. But no matter what, after this game, someone's going to be on match point. So I guess just big boy macro. I'm a bit of macro player myself. Is the way to go. Just micro perfectly with incredible decision making and confidence in your mechanical skill, and you'll be fine. I'm gonna try to watch. Well, here's one thing you can copy from these players is overlords, where they send them, what they're looking for. And King's Cove is a bit of an interesting map. Like, look on the mini-map right now. Both players will see the second overlord is at the same timing, which almost always indicates a hatch first. It's just simply too expensive to fake an overlord and then go for an early pull. You just don't have the resources. So, in seeing that second overlord, they both know there's more than likely not Zerglings sneaking out. But since the pathing on King's Cove is actually a little odd, if you do go for an early pull, or you do try to sneak Zerglings out, you can get them out more realistically than most other maps. Because it is just simply a longer distance for the overlord to travel to get to your opponent's natural and get the vision you get on, say, Kairos Junction. A third, both sides seeing the drones coming out. Even at this level, you get a little bit of like, oh yeah, third base time. Right, like, I should get a third. It's the incredibly highly multiple generations above advanced level of a Bronze League hero playing a Protoss versus Protoss, seeing a Void Ray and then being like, oh yeah, Void Rays are a good unit. I should build some of those. But here it's just, oh yeah, let's get that third up. 4 seconds later. Wow, creep tumor. I don't believe that was... Okay, okay, Reynor, calm down. That's not gonna work. He's not gonna listen. But a creep tumor to connect bases beforehand. And that is important. There's a long distance without creep to the third. Despite the fact it's on the high ground, until it's finished, it is vulnerable. That is a significant amount of Zerglings. It seems to have been Serral. Serral has been continually the one who initiates kind of the Zergling trades, and then drones behind. Oh, and Reynor gets in with a lane. That's a huge Zergling. I mean, it's a normal-sized Zergling, but it's also huge. He's going to lose it. He's busy microing, obviously. This is kind of important to not die to Zerglings here. Oh, well, mini-map, mini-map! Bane legs! Bane legs! Okay, is he gonna get bamboo? Okay. I thought for a second Reynor might actually fall to the oldest trick in the book, which is 2 random banelings in any location but where you're looking. But of course he's looking. A nice little Evo chamber block. And no drone losses. Reynor and no drone losses to banelings. Name a more iconic duo.
Our forces are under attack.
Serral and winning WCS. Okay. This is really greedy. This Reynor, he's very confident in his defense. He's not making any more Zerglings. He saw like 20 lanes. He's like, no, I'm good. He sees on the mini-map as well where those links are. Few roaches now, but it's like, no, I want my 54 drones. Now this is a very important Zergling. Serral didn't block it out! This is huge. Seeing the lair timing, seeing that his lair is quicker, oh, that is massive information. He's going to have roach speed quicker. He doesn't need to be worried about getting all in. He's probably going to have roach speed by the time a Nidus could come up, and he himself can get a Nidus. So he's going to have better tech. He probably has slightly more drones. He doesn't know for sure. But just that roach speed and lair timing, I feel like the Nidus is maybe a bit much. It is for reinforcement as opposed to, haha, I got a Nidus in your main. But if he gets a Nidus in his main, it doesn't hurt much either. The Nidus just gives you so many reinforcement opportunities. It's much cheaper. Amusingly enough, since the Nidus has been tweaked, buffed and then tweaked, it's seen the most use in Zerg versus Zerg. Because of the nature of ZVZ and how you can kind of get away with investing in it in this position. In other matchups, it just doesn't do that much, but having a few more roaches in the right spot definitely makes the difference, as Serral used it in game number 1 to great effect. Reynor gonna try to break through. There are a couple spine crawlers. Serral definitely feeling the pressure here. Is there anything left in the Nidus? He's going for another one in the main. Can just pull back. It's like Warp Gate, but with infinite units. Still, he kept a lot of his roaches at the third. Serral is struggling to commit the right amount of units in the right spot. This is almost a reverse of game number 1, where Serral used that Nidus to tear open Reynor's defense. In fact, Reynor might have learned a thing or two. It feels like Reynor not quite able to break through, but remember, this isn't all in. He has a solid economy behind this. The one thing he doesn't have is +2 attack. Wait, if you contaminate a Nidus, what happens? Can you contaminate a Nidus network? Does it, like, prevent the production of Nidus worms? I don't know. Questions for the philosophers. Reynor starts +2 attack. Serral started his a little quicker. It's hard for either player to tell. They both know the other has +1. Reinforcements come through the Nidus. No investment in additional Nidus worms. And the defender's advantage starting to pay off here for Serral. A fourth base on the way. Whoa.
Mineral field depleted.
The Zerg warp gate is pretty sick. And they say Zerg doesn't have recall.
The hive castle is under attack. Our forces are under attack. Mineral
So
field
this game
depleted.
seems like it's going to even out a bit. As
Mineral field
both sides stabilize. Serral
metamorphosis
had a couple more workers, but Reynor's going to have another base. Neither able to do critical damage. Well, mostly Reynor not able to do critical damage to Serral. He's going to add another round of roaches. It looks like he's going to try to end it with +2 attack. Or, well, not end it, but keep the pressure up. Moving in. How many Ravagers does he have compared to his opponent? Oh, this concave for Serral is far too good. You can't fight that. You can trade, maybe try to hit some Corrosive Bile, but unless you hit all of them, it's not going to turn the tide. +2 attack is going to be finishing up for both sides. Serral moving into a defensive position. I mean, he's been in a defensive position the whole time, but he's continuing to adjust it. The speed overlords for both sides give near perfect vision. Reynor's just trying to beat his way in here. Serral in a bit of an awkward spot. The concave isn't really there because of the 2 ramps. Is he just going to keep fighting? Reinforcements are on the way. Serral's... I mean... Reynor wins the fight. Did...
The hive cluster is under attack.
I'm still, like, I'm gonna need to go back to that. There's not much more commentary to do. Like, he's out-microing the Roach Ravager. It seems like he might have 1 or 2 more, but he does have the Carapace upgrade advantage, but that just kicked in. Serral went for Burrow. He went for Burrow move, of course. Reynor now has a decisive supply advantage. So far, well, Reynor's just pressing it. I need to go back. I need to go take another look at that. I don't understand how Reynor won that fight. Like, not even just winning it a little bit. He won it decisively. Were there some Corrosive Biles that hit? Okay. So Reynor wins. He just... We gotta go. Let's go back. Okay, so what is the count? Serral has 42 roaches and 8 ravagers, and he has +2 attack. Well, when this fight starts, Serral actually has +2 attack for like 1 second more. That doesn't matter. So, a few of Serral's roaches are in the main. Some of them are kind of scattered around because of Nidus potential. Reynor doesn't have all his forces here either. So right now, it's 51 and 6 Ravagers against 47 and 8 Ravagers. Not all the Ravagers are in the fight to start. But Reynor has a lot of his roaches that are in that count are on the way across the map or producing. Well, 1, 2, 3. Well, let's... Oh, that's a big bile hit. Another one in the center. The way Reynor is moving, more of his roaches continue to fire. Oh, big corrosive biles. And he's being a lot more meticulous with only moving roaches that are going to be hit. Yeah, there's like 7 or 8 corrosive biles connecting on Serral's army. Let's just one more time in regular speed. I want to look at, like, when the corrosive biles are micro, like, when you micro against them, I want to see, just watch Serral versus Reynor, like, how many units move for each one. The entire army moves there, whereas Reynor splits maybe a third of it. He does eat some hits, but this is a good valley. And he kind of turns the tables with the high ground. The ramp constricts things. Reinforcements are continually on the way as well, but Reynor just managed every part of that fight a little bit better. The numbers were about... In fact, I think Serral had slightly more in the way of numbers, but... So, Reynor out-microed Serral. That's what I'm saying. Reynor goes up 3-2. Yeah, it's hard. Like, I had to sound it out because there are words that I don't say often or ever. So, had to make sure that I was saying it correctly. It's like, Reynor is now on match point against the 4-time WCS champion Serral. Of course, Reynor also the only player to ever defeat Serral in a WCS finals. So... Is this when we get the drone rush? No? Hatch first from both sides. It's match point. Is my entire understanding of ZVZ from, like, the 2000 MMR under Serral North American ladder wrong? Are you telling me the cheesy-ass North American ladder lied to me? And ZVZ isn't supposed to be like a 14-14 every other game? I don't believe you. The problem with these games, I mean, they're fun to watch. And let's be honest here, most of you guys, I hope you're enjoying my breakdown, but even for me, I'm gonna get my self-esteem up here. I'm better than most people, and almost every single person watching this as well. The problem is, like, I don't even feel I can apply most of what I'm learning, because I just get supply blocked too much and don't build enough units. Ow. Yep, like that. That's my build. It's like, we're doing good. Oh, wait a second. They're so good. Reynor was 8 gas late on his speed. What a noob. And like, you can learn the time. It's like, one thing to definitely notice is how quickly both players are getting an Evo chamber. They're both going Ling Bane every game to some extent. But, well, besides Serral in that one 2-base all-in game. But very quickly getting an Evo chamber. Both as potentially part of a wall, just in case. And also, Brenda, what? Why? I was told there would be creep. There was not creep. I did not agree to this. It's like, no, I have you. It's like, no, now we're both out here. Anyways. The one thing to apply is the Evo chamber timing. In fact, I think Reynor's is very slightly on the late side. Serral's already going for +1 ranged attack. Whereas Reynor is... Oh, he's rushing a lair. Okay, this game is a little confusing. I think he's spotted that Serral doesn't have a third, but there's a whole lot of Zerglings on the way, so he's trying to bamboozle him. Thing is, we know that. Reynor doesn't know that. Reynor, super suspicious. His star senses were tingling. He's like, well, Why are you trying so hard to push my overlords out of the way?
Forces.
That's a little suspicious, Mr. Serral. And, his suspicions paid off. He added a second Evo chamber in the wall. The Lings cannot get in. What? That queen is off the reservation. Serral, I mean not Serral, I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Reynor is making so many strong and mildly risky calls. Like, walling off here, going for that quick lair, it's not necessarily going to put him way behind if this isn't what Serral's doing. Like, if Serral just didn't make any Zerglings, if he had just made it look like he was making Zerglings, Reynor wouldn't be that far behind. But now, because he made this call, he's significantly ahead. Like, those Zerglings, they got to cancel on the third, but they were a big investment in drones early. Only now has Serral caught up. The tech is much later. Reynor's actually gambling on a Spire, and that gamble is also going to pay off, because Serral is following this up with Roaches. Like, Serral could also be going Lair and going Spire and potentially doing it more quickly because he didn't invest as much gas and upgrades. Reynor is making every call that needs to be made. Every choice is going the right direction for him. And it's calculated risk. But this poker game, he's all in. And he's winning. Is Serral gonna see it in time? I think he missed a change. Did that changeling see the Spire? Does he even make any mutas? You make 5 mutas, right? 5 mutas are enough to one-shot workers. That's why it's a key number.
Metamorphosis complete.
+2 ranged attack is on the way. Reynor has been working off of essentially calculated guesses. He hasn't had any information besides seeing an Overseer, seeing the third base timing. He's actually going to send his mutas to kill the Overseer. He's just denying information from Serral. Adding more roaches on behind. He has no intentions of making any additional mutas. Three queens are enough to box out. +2, +1 against the +2 of Serral. What is that? What is... Oh, another Overseer. Serral's Overseer will be spotting these roaches. Reynor has to recognize that. Is there a spore? What? Did Serral think he was bluffing on the mutas? Okay, there's a spore in the main. No spore in the nav because the queens were close enough. There's no spore at the third. Oh my god, Reynor's giving him the runaround. Loses a muta though. Behind this, it looks like Reynor's just winding up for a big knockout roach punch. The mutas didn't get that much done. Their existence is always good, though. Like, if you can get mutas out without risking your economy, it's rarely a bad choice, because you can clear overloads. That's usually the thing that's a staple of ZVZ. That's why roaches can be countered, is because you see them coming, because you have overlords, you have overseers. Mutas, they fly, believe it or not. I know, it sounds crazy. 2-1 is finishing up. Reynor has just hit a power spike. It appears Serral is trying to go for lurkers. Reynor doesn't know that for sure, but he knows he just finished 2-1, and there's not going to be a better time to attack for quite a while. Is he? No, don't go. Okay, okay. Does he think he can go forward? Yes. He's trying to bully his way up the ramp. The muta's looking for an opportunity. Corrosive Biles, microing just small groups of units back. The spot. He doesn't even care about the mutas. It's all about this fight right now. The base is under attack. Corrosive Biles starting to land. Beautiful micro back. still just microing Muta. Somehow Reynor wins the fight. He did have the upgrade advantage. It is pretty significant. GG! Reynor takes it 4-2. Decisive. Saying, I can win. I can go up a ramp into roaches and ravagers, and I can win that fight with controlled, minimalist micro. Not just, oh, every time you corrosive bow, I'm going to run away. No. 2-3 units here. 2-3 units there. He just outplayed Serral. He outplayed. Yep. Still sounds the same. So it is. We have a new champion. Reynor. The only reason he didn't go to BlizzCon last year is because he lost to Serral 4-3 in the finals of the only WCS he was able to compete in. Because before that WCS, the last one of the year, he was too young. He was below the age of 16, which is the minimum age to compete for many reasons. Oh, I have... Okay. Yeah. We gotta show this. We did this when Reynor won WCS Winter. I think this is worth taking a look at as well. But Reynor, 17 years old now, I believe. Oh my god, is that a quote? I'm now looking through all the clips. People link me and I didn't want to spoil myself. But to quote Reynor from lifting his trophy, I thought it would be heavier. Wow. He just carried himself to a WCS championship. Also, let's there is an Italian cast. Reynor is from Italy. He's an Italian player. This was the end of the Italian cast after, well, that match. Why you got a buffer? Why are you buffering? Jimmy! What? What am I paying all the internet tubes for? Don't worry, that's all we get. Pay for more. I like how... What is this? What is Serral's face with a Christmas hat? Why is Serral's face behind him? What are they wearing? So, I don't speak Italian. And I have a sneaking suspicion that it wouldn't help. Nor does it need to. Honestly, he made Serral look like Serral makes everyone else look. Reynor, that was the most decisive. In all the other series they've played, even the one where Reynor won, it still looked very close. Like, some of the games could have gone either way. No, this looked like Reynor was the better player. Because he was. So, your feelings on Reynor, whether you enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed the first-person breakdown. 500 APM, give or take. And just getting started. He is now the age that I started playing StarCraft 2 at. 9 years ago, so the age of 60. But he's a WCS champion, so let's not think too hard about that. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Yikes.